Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are strapping in for one of the most conceptually ambitious deep dives we have ever attempted. I'm not even sure where to begin.
Ambitious is definitely the word for it. We're moving so far beyond just numbers on a page.
We really are. We're going to be looking at mathematics, but not as, a tool for calculation. We're talking about math as a philosophical and even a theological blueprint for the entire cosmos.
And it all centers on one single digit.
A single digit, one we usually just associate with, with nothing.
Yeah.
Absence, we're talking about zero.
That's right. Our mission today is to unpack a single, absolutely extraordinary chapter. It's chapter 26, Zero and Its Own Shades. And it's from this fascinating and I'd say highly esoteric source called The Legend Mind by SKR, who is Sonu Kumar.
And this book, it doesn't just analyze numbers. I mean, it tries to create a unified theory of everything.
It really does. It's trying to connect physics, cosmology, ancient Indian philosophy, all of it, through the lens of the number zero.
What I find so compelling right from the jump is the author's mindset. You can tell this isn't just some academic exercise for them. It's a spiritual quest.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
The preface and the dedication, they set a really profound spiritual stage. The author says the entire book was inspired by their immortal guru, the Lord Shiva.
Which led them to live with zero attraction of the world. I mean, that one phrase tells you everything.
Exactly. It tells you immediately that we're not going to be treating zero as just a mathematical placeholder. It's a path. It's a way to enlightenment, to detachment, and ultimately to understanding the cosmos itself.
So this is an interdisciplinary approach that's just gone cosmic.
Mhm.
And it's all framed by this deep devotion.
The author is very clear about it. They say they followed this path through all sorts of disciplines: science, math, religious texts, physics, numerology, you name it, all to answer these curious questions that were popping up in their mind about how reality is actually structured.
And the context for this specific chapter is so important. It comes right after a discussion that the number one is the mother of the real number system.
Right. So zero isn't an afterthought. It's not some byproduct of the number line. It's being positioned as the foundational partner to one. It's the origin point of all structure.
So our mission today is to decode this comprehensive spiritualized definition of zero. The author positions it as foundational to, everything.
We're going to see zero go from being simple emptiness to a universal architect.
This is not your high school math class. This is a structural analysis of the entire universe based on a single digit. So let's unpack this journey into nothingness, which, it turns out, is actually everything.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with the immediate philosophical puzzle the author throws at us. The fundamental question right at the beginning is zero just a number, just a digit? Or is it telling us something more?
And the initial definition seems simple enough. Zero means nothing, an empty space. But that's where the simplicity ends.
It really does, because the author just refuses to accept that all nothingness is the same, that it's uniform.
It does, and they use this fantastic analogy to immediately challenge that idea, to show us why zero has shades. It's brilliant. We're asked to consider 3 different students who all fail their exams.
Right. One student fails class 1, another fails class 10, and the third fails university.
Now, mathematically, what's the result for all 3?
It's zero. They all failed. They didn't meet the standard. Quantitatively, they're all starting from the same point of lack.
Exactly. But now look at the context around that zero. Just think about the sheer volume of knowledge, the experience required, the effort, the time invested. It's all vastly different for the university student compared to the first grader.
Of course.
So the zero still represents an empty space, the absence of success. But the size of that empty space, the sheer scope of the knowledge that was required but is now missing, that is what defines the shade of that particular zero.
It's the depth of the vacuum that matters.
Precisely.
That is a really profound distinction. It's a necessary philosophical move to get this whole system started. It takes zero from being this, absolute static thing, a lack of quantity, to being a dynamic, empty vessel.
A vessel whose capacity varies wildly depending on what came before it.
Right. So you shouldn't think of it as just the number zero. You should think of it as the size of the container you'd need to hold the failure.
I love that.
The university student zero needs a warehouse-sized container to hold all that lost effort and opportunity.
Yeah.
But the class 1 student, you only need a teacup.
Exactly. The foundational insight here, the thing that unlocks everything else, is that when we're dealing with nothingness, we have to ask a question.
What was the potential that was lost?
And how big was the container that failed to be filled? This conceptual framework then sets the stage for the author's next move, which is to try and quantify this philosophical emptiness.
And this is where it gets really interesting, because the author attempts to quantify this empty space, this varying size of zero, by tying it directly to the powers of 10.
Using familiar metric prefixes.
Yeah, to impose a physical, scalable dimension onto this philosophical concept, it's a huge leap.
It's a crucial conceptual bridge. The author is, in essence, co-opting the language of science, the language of measurement and physics, to give this abstract idea of empty potential a measurable physical dimension.
We're basically forcing the vacuum of failure onto a metric scale.
We are. We're going from the abstract psychological depth of a student's failure right into standard scientific units of measurement.
So the author defines 8 specific quantitative shades of zero, and they move from the microscopic all the way up to the mega, using these powers of 10 to define the size of this empty space.
We start small, right? Dealing with the zeros of precision. So you have the microshade of 0, which is defined by 10 to the -6 power. It represents an extremely fine, a very small absence.
Okay, micro, then the millishade.
Millishade is 10 to the -3 power. So, these are the kinds of small-scale vacuums you might encounter in very technical fields.
And then we move up to centa at 10 to the -2, and decide at 10 to the -1. So we're seeing the concept of absence of emptiness start to gain scale. It's moving away from being infinitesimal.
Exactly. And as we move upward, the empty space just gets exponentially larger. This is where we represent macro-scale absence, or macro-scale potential.
So we have the decashade of 0 at 10 to the 1st power.
Then hecto, which is 10 to the 2nd power. Kilo, 10 to the 3rd power, which represents a really significant 1,000-fold potential absence.
And the biggest one we're given in this first section is the megashade of 0.
Defined by 10 to the 6th power, a million-fold emptiness.
Wow.
So what this framework actually does is it fundamentally redefines 0. It's not just the origin point on a number line anymore.
No, it's a dimensional entity. You can scale it.
Yeah.
You can define it using scientific notation.
And the author uses this whole system, from micro to mega, to explain how the space of 0 is defined according to size. This groundwork suggests that, when we encounter nothingness in the universe, we have to first ask a question.
What is the power of 10 that's defining that nothingness?
Is it a micro zero of minimal absence or a mega zero of, say, a cosmic void?
It's a remarkable synthesis. It's using the objective language of science to categorize what feels like a subjective philosophical lack. But the author doesn't just stop there with categorizing the size of 0.
No, not at all. Having established that 0 is measurable by its size, the author needs a physical constant to anchor the entire cosmic zero structure.
And that's why we pivot. And it is a bit jarring. We pivot immediately to the ultimate constant of the universe.
Yes, the transition is dramatic. It's like a jump cut in a movie. We go from these scalable unit prefixes directly to the most famous constant in the universe, the speed of light, c, in a vacuum.
This is where the structural integrity, the family structure of 0 gets established.
It is. The author introduces this initial equation, equation 1, which seems to be the numerical foundation for everything. It lays out the cosmic structure of 0 before it's even defined.
And it's written as 0 equals 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, space 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, space 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
So that's a single 0 composed of 15 foundational zeros. And they're grouped into 3 sets of 5.
So right away, this tells you the foundation of the universe is structured around the number 15, which comes from 3 groups of 5.
And then we pivot to c. The verifiable physical value of the speed of light in a vacuum is given as 300,000 kilometers per second. And the author explicitly uses the numerical sequence of c to justify the structure of 0 itself.
Okay, let's break down that specific mathematical relationship, because this is where the source uses physics to reverse engineer its theology. It's a wild move.
It is. So first, the author states that the speed of light, c, is also equal to those 15 zeros.
So the ultimate speed, the constant of the universe, is numerically equivalent to the 15 foundational zeros of existence. That's the claim.
Then they show the calculation for the practical, measurable value of c. They write c equals 3 times 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Then c equals 3 times, in parentheses, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Which leads to the familiar c equals 300,000 kilometers per second.
Okay, but hang on. Isn't this just a case of reverse engineering? I mean, the author is taking a known physical result, 3 times 10 to the 5th, and is forcing it onto this arbitrary structural template of 15 zeros.
That's a great question.
Because if C is 3 times 10 to the fifth, we only see a factor of 3 and 5 zeros. Where do the other 10 zeros come from? The ones that make up the 15 foundational units.
And that's the intellectual friction that this chapter creates. The source implies that the 5 zeros used to calculate the speed of light are just the manifested portion.
The measurable part.
Maybe the part of the human realm, yeah. While the remaining 10 zeros are what define the unmanifested realms of God and demon.
Ah, I see.
Since the initial structure, that equation 1 for 0, had 3 of those blocks of 5, the author concludes that 0 must be fundamentally of 15 types based on these 3 groupings.
So the 5 zeros in the speed of light are just the tip of the iceberg. They represent the measurable universe, and they're anchored by the number 3. The speed of light is the manifestation of just 1/3 of the total cosmic zero structure.
Exactly.
So what does this mean for the source's credibility? I mean, it suggests that objective physics is secondary to this predetermined spiritual structure of 15.
Precisely. And what's so fascinating here is how physics gets co-opted to create this cosmic classification system. The author takes a verifiable physical constant, the speed of light, and uses its numerical components to define the entire structure of the abstract concept of 0.
It's no longer just a mathematical placeholder.
No, it's a structured cosmic entity made of 15 parts. And this leads directly to what the author calls the tripartite division of 0.
Those 15 zeros get immediately broken down into 3 distinct domains, or groups, which define all the realms of existence. It's the ultimate symmetrical division.
Yes. The 3 groups, and each one is composed of 5 zeros, are Gadi equals 5 zeros, human equals 5 zeros, and demon equals 5 zeros.
That is quite the structural insight. I mean, the author is saying that the entire spectrum of moral and physical existence, heaven, earth, hell, is represented by these equal but distinct families of 0.
Symmetry is compelling.
It is. But if the God, human, and demon families are structurally identical, they're all 5 zeros, then where does the difference in their nature, in their dominion, where does that actually come from?
And that's the core philosophical maneuver, I think. The foundational insight is that all of existence, even the demonic parts, requires structure and symmetry. It can't be arbitrary. So the distinction isn't in the building blocks themselves.
It's in how they're used.
It's in their application and their dominion, which we're about to see are defined by planets and by mathematical operations.
I see.
If the speed of light is intrinsically linked to these 3 domains, it suggests that the fundamental energy constant of the universe applies equally across the God, human, and demon realms. No domain is exempt from the laws structured by these 15 zeros.
They all operate under the same rules. Their difference is just in their management and their location.
Exactly. This sets the stage for what is essentially a grand universal bureaucracy. We have the 3 domains of power, and now we have to analyze what those 5 zeros inside each domain actually represent.
Okay, so now we take that symmetry and we expand it even further. We're drilling down into the, let's call them the microscopic elements of each domain. Each of the 3 groups, God, human, demon, is composed of 5 zeros. And the author connects these 5 individual zeros to the 5 elements, the Panch Mahabhuta.
This is where ancient Indian cosmology gets explicitly woven into the numerical structure. The Panch Mahabhuta, the 5 great elements, earth or Prithvi, water, Jala, fire, Agni, air, Vayu, and space or Akasha.
So this shows the fractal nature of the whole structure. The universal zero is made of 15 components. Those components are organized into 3 realms, and within each of those realms, the basic building blocks of reality are constant.
They are. The mapping is explicit and foundational. A single 0 is assigned to each element, which confirms that the building blocks of reality are just different manifestations of nothingness or potential.
So Earth is represented by a single 0.
Water is a single 0.
Fire is a single 0.
Air is a 0.
And space is a 0.
This means that whether we're looking at the God realm or the human realm or the demon realm, the core material composition, the underlying 5 elements, which are the 5 zeros, it remains constant.
So what's different is the dominion of the group.
Exactly. The source explains that these 3 groups represent 3 categories of people or groups who have their own dominion or place: heaven, earth, or hell.
So the 5 zeros in the God family manifest as the 5 elements in heaven. The 5 zeros in the human family manifest the 5 elements on earth, and the 5 zeros in the demon family are the 5 elements in hell.
The elements are the same, the location is what defines the domain.
But the author goes even deeper into this hierarchical structure. They establish a chain of command linking these zeros to the concept of the supreme guru and assigning specific planetary roles. It's like a cosmic family tree.
It is. The single zero, the overall concept of structured nothingness, is considered the supreme guru.
And this supreme guru is then divided into 3 equal parts of 5 gurus each: the god, human, and demon families.
And now we see these 5 zeros, the 5 elements, within each family being assigned specific planetary roles: a father, a guru, and a big sun. This creates a highly specialized and frankly very unusual numerological system.
Yeah, it's crucial we detail this mapping for you, because the numbers that are assigned to the planets here, they defy standard astronomical or mythological groupings. It suggests this is a unique, proprietary numerological system that SKR invented.
Let's start with the God family. They make the heaven place, and they utilize their 5 zeros, their 5 supreme gurus.
Okay, so in the God family, the father is the sun, and the sun is represented by the number 1.
The guru is Jupiter, represented by the number 2.
And the big sun is Saturn, represented by the number 7.
So this is the ruling family of the highest dominion. The celestial hierarchy is established by the energy of the sun, the wisdom of Jupiter, and the cold discipline of Saturn.
The combination of those numbers, 1, 2, 7, is really intriguing. 1, the sun, that aligns with the concept of 1 being the mother of the real number system. It establishes solar power as the ultimate progenitor.
That makes sense.
But why Jupiter is 2 and Saturn is 7? Jupiter is the traditional teacher, so that fits the guru role. But Saturn, as the big sun, suggests that the continuation of the divine line requires, well, the planet of strict lessons and limitations.
It speaks to a very specific kind of divinity, doesn't it? One that requires structure and rigor. Okay, now let's move to the human family. They control the earth place, and they're also composed of their 5 zeros, their 5 supreme gurus.
Here, the father is the moon, represented by the number 2. The guru is Mercury, number 5. And the big sun is Uranus, number 8.
Okay, so notice the immediate recycling of numbers and the change in roles. Jupiter was number 2 in the God family, holding the ultimate wisdom.
But the moon is number 2 in the human family, and it holds the paternal role.
It suggests a duality or maybe a reflection. The human father is based on cycles and emotion and reflection, the moon, rather than raw, radiating power like the sun.
And the inclusion of Uranus is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Uranus is one of the modern planets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Discovered much later than the classical ones.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that the human family includes this planet, which is often associated with rebellion, innovation, and sudden change, it suggests that the human realm integrates both ancient and modern celestial knowledge.
And maybe that change is a foundational element of what it means to be human.
And the human guru is Mercury, number 5, the swift messenger of communication. It fits.
It does. Then we come to the demon family. They created the hell place, also structured by their 5 zeros, their 5 supreme gurus.
The father here is Mars, represented by the number 3. The guru is Venus, number 6. And the big sun is Neptune, number 9.
The structure is just so rigid and symmetrical. Every single realm is defined by 5 elemental zeros and governed by 3 planetary representatives.
Mars, traditionally the planet of conflict and aggression, serves as the father here. That aligns pretty thematically with the demon realm.
It does. But let's just linger on the counterintuitive pairing here for a second. Venus, which we often associate with love and harmony and beauty, number 6, serving as the guru of hell.
That is a very nuanced theological choice.
Yeah.
It forces you to reconsider what teaching or wisdom even looks like in the demonic domain.
Right.
If Venus is the guru, the knowledge that's imparted in the hell place isn't based on physical destruction, like Mars. It's maybe based on seduction or corrosive beauty or the wisdom of illusion and attachment.
It suggests that the demon's power structure is built not just on force, but on a kind of tempting sophistication.
And their big sun is Neptune, number 9, the planet of illusion, fog, deep waters. So the air of the demonic realm is based on confusion and boundarylessness.
The entire system is built on this specialized numerology. 1, 2, 7 for God, 2, 5, 8 for human, 3, 6, 9 for demon. All of it rooted in the silent structure of 0.
The 15 types of 0 are a hard limit, providing the structural foundation for this entire universal hierarchy.
We've established the actors God, human, demon.
And their territories. Heaven, earth, hell, governed by their planetary families.
So now we need to define the rules of engagement. How do these groups interact? How do they influence each other's power?
And that is where the basic math operations come in.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the author hasn't just assigned structure to existence, they've assigned functionality. The discussion now transitions to the four basic mathematical operations: multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division.
And they're assigned these philosophical roles related to power dynamics and influence within this cosmic structure we've just laid out.
Yeah, math operations are no longer just tools for arithmetic. They are forces that define the relationships between these cosmic families.
We're detailing the specific role and the functional weight assigned to each operation. And it gives us an insight into the inherent moral character of these cosmic groups.
Let's take multiplication first. Multiplication, the author says, belongs to the guru groups,
Right.
because the guru groups are known for their ability to double someone's power. Multiplication is the operator of exponential growth, of enhancement, of expansion.
And since zero itself is the supreme guru, it makes sense that the ultimate enhancing operation is aligned with that guru status. They don't just add, they multiply your potential.
Right. This suggests the true power of a guru isn't just teaching you something. It's the potential to accelerate the disciple's power far beyond a simple sum. It's an exponential curve of development.
Okay, that makes sense. Then there's addition.
Addition belongs to the God groups. The God groups are known for their ability to add on to someone's power.
So it's a steady, benevolent accumulation of power. It's different from the more aggressive, exponential doubling of the gurus.
Exactly. It suggests divine power is supplementary. It's cumulative. It enhances an individual's existing abilities without demanding some sort of radical transformation.
Now we get to the operations of reduction. And the author makes a really critical distinction between the two forms of loss. Subtraction belongs to the human groups. The human groups are known for their ability to lessen someone's power.
Which perfectly captures the essence of the mortal experience, right? Entropy is slow and constant. Everything is temporary, energy is finite, and our actions, even positive ones, often result in some kind of reduction or depletion in the long run.
Subtraction is a slow, inevitable drain.
It is. And finally, division belongs to the demon group. The demon group is known for its ability to halve someone's power.
To half it.
Yeah. Division is the most corrosive operation. It rapidly diminishes value. If subtraction, the human condition, is a slow drain, a gradual lessening of resources or lifespan, then division, the demon condition, is an instantaneous, severe reduction.
A fitting representation of swift, destructive, demonic influence.
I think so.
That distinction is so crucial. The human condition involves subtraction. We age. We lose things slowly over time. The demon condition involves division, total loss, having the value, instant destruction.
This categorization gives the operations a moral and functional weight. They're not just algorithms. They are the tools used by these specific cosmic groups to interact with and influence the power of others.
Whether it's boosting power, slowly adding to it, reducing it, or just splitting it in half, it dramatically defines the type of force that dominates each realm.
So, what does this all mean when we bring it back to the original digits? The author takes everything we've just discussed, 0 as the foundation, 1 as the mother, the operations, the family structures, and fuses it all into one final grand conclusion.
A conclusion about the ultimate power structure of what they call the mega-universe.
Yes, and this is the author's final grand statement. The existence of 4 kinds of peoples or groups adhering to a cosmic Varna system represented by the first 4 foundational digits.
To really get this, we probably need to briefly define the classical Varna system.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It refers to 4 broad social classes that are found in ancient Hindu texts.
Right, so you have the Brahmins, who are traditionally the priests, the teachers, the intellectuals. The Kshatriyas, who are the warriors and rulers. The Vaishyas, who are the merchants and producers.
And the Shudras, the laborers and service providers.
And the author is positing that this hierarchy is not just a social construct. It's a cosmic, inherent truth encoded in the foundation of mathematics itself.
This is where the digit story becomes an origin story for cosmic stratification, and it starts with the highest class.
0. 0 is the guru, Brahman.
This is the highest class, the spiritual or intellectual elite. They are the source of all systems, linked to this foundational concept of nothingness, which somehow contains everything. 0, the silent foundation, is the ultimate knowledge keeper.
Which assigns the greatest, most foundational power to the Brahman class. They are the definition of structured potential. They are the supreme authority because they represent the source code. They represent 0.
Then comes 1. $1 is the god, Kshatriyas.
The warrior and ruler class.
And this makes sense because 1, being the mother of the real number system, is the first active unit that creates the measurable world. So it assumes the role of the ruler, the protector of existence. It gives direction to the silent foundation of 0.
Okay, then 2 $2 is the human Yais, the mercantile and producer class.
Humans are the bridge. They're the necessary medium between the divine God, or one, and the laborer demon, or three. They're focused on creation, trade, sustaining the system within that realm of slow entropy we talked about, subtraction.
They are the maintainers of the economic and social machine.
And finally, three. $30 three is the demon, Shudras, the laborer and service class.
This aligns thematically with the demon group being associated with division, with having power. It suggests their role is fundamentally to serve, or maybe to reduce, forming the base layer of the cosmic hierarchy.
The author is using this numerical scale 0, 1, 2, 3 to represent the entire social and cosmic hierarchy. It demonstrates how the very essence of mathematics defines all potential relationships and classes in the mega-universe.
It's an incredibly detailed and layered system. It's positing a cosmic truth that hierarchy is mathematically fundamental, and it's rooted in those foundational digits.
0 is the source code.
1 is the active principle,
2 is the manifestation.
and 3 is the destructive or service aspect.
This takes the concept of a societal hierarchy and posits it as a cosmic law encoded in the first 4 digits, and it forces us to ask some deep philosophical questions.
Like, is the universe inherently stratified?
Right. And if the gurus, the zeros, are linked to multiplication, the operation of exponential power, while the gods, the ones, are only linked to addition. Well, it suggests that the true power structure prioritizes knowledge and exponential growth over just benevolent, steady accumulation.
The Brahmins hold the keys to limitless power. The Kshatriyas are just managing the territory. Wow. We started this deep dive thinking about 0 as an absence, and we have ended with 0 as the foundational structured blueprint for all existence.
Complete with the planetary government, elemental components define power dynamics through basic arithmetic.
And a cosmic social order. It's a lot.
It was an expansive journey into the esoteric mind of the author, for sure. We saw 0 move from simple emptiness, right, illustrated by that analogy of the level of education before a failure,
To a scalable physical dimension defined by metric powers of 10. That was the first major step, quantifying the unquantifiable.
Then, using the numerical structure of the speed of light, a verifiable constant, the author established the 15 foundational zeros divided into those 3 great symmetrical families: God, human, and demon.
A structure that asserted that all realms, even the demonic one, are built from the same fundamental building blocks.
And those families were then intricately mapped back to the 5 classical elements, the Panch Mahaputa, and assigned those specific and highly unconventional planetary representatives.
Sun, Jupiter, Saturn for the divine, Moon, Mercury, Uranus for the mortal, and Mars, Venus, Neptune for the demonic. It assigned a whole ruling family structure, father, guru, big sun, to every single domain of the universe.
And finally, the 4 basic mathematical operations were reinterpreted as these cosmic power tools, defining how each group influences the power of others.
The guru's exponential multiplication, the god additive addition, the human subtractive entropy, and the demon's destructive division.
Which all culminated in the assignment of the digits 0, 1, 2, and 3 to the 4 universal Varna classes.
Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra.
And the author concluded this whole unit by stating they presented this legend-unique question unit in a rough way or big picture.
And they did this so that, and I'm quoting, many more person from different profession can work smart on this question for better knowledge.
It's an explicit challenge. It's a call for scientists, astrologers, mathematicians, physicists to engage with this unique synthesis, not as a finished theory, but as a conceptual starting point for a new kind of universal understanding.
It is a remarkable concept to leave us with. I mean, if 0, the absence, the nothingness, is the supreme guru, the foundation of all systems, the first Varna, and it defines the very size of the universe's components, then what inherent truth about knowledge or about power is hidden within the number 0 itself?
That's the question, isn't it? Does true power lie in being the necessary, silent foundation upon which everything else is built? 0 isn't active, not like 1, 2, or 3. And yet, it enables the exponential growth, the multiplication that's reserved only for the gurus.
It suggests that knowledge and potential, the essence of the Brahman class, must always be rooted in a state of 0 attraction of the world.
The detachment the author was seeking from the very beginning.
Something to ponder as you reflect on the structure of your own world and the silent systems that govern it. That's all for this deep dive into the cosmic shades of 0.
Thank you for joining us.
We'll catch you next time.